So my idea of perfection for my body is
My idea of perfection is
I don't know. Oh, that's such a loaded question. I don't think there really is a perfect body.
Because as I've gotten older, I've tried to stray away from having like a concept of perfect. But I know that anytime I'm feeling like particularly insecure, it has to do with like the amount of weight I gain and when I bloat and like things like that. And so like for me, what is most ideal for me or like what is perfect would just being fit.
to have a little bit of muscle, but just not be too skinny, so have a little bit of fat as well.
Like, I don't really like that. Like, it's too much muscle is too nasty for me. That's just me personally. But like,
being in a place where I can look at my body and know that it's mine and feeling happy with it.
Yeah, I think that, we're given certain standards that are really unattainable for us.
But I know that when I'm in those mindsets where it's just I want to be perfect, I just want to be skinny and I want like a larger chest and I want a bigger butt because that's what I was raised to think was ideal and perfect.
I would say just having like a clear face.
Not really trying to focus as much on like what my body looks like, more so like how healthy I am and like can I move my body in the ways that I want to be able to, and just feeling comfortable in my own skin.
And so like I think like my idea of a perfect body now is just being healthy and fit.
So I guess appearances, I would say a perfect body is a healthy body.
But it takes way more energy mentally.
I think just listening to myself and kind of understanding like how my body works and just listening to myself rather than look at how society views perfection in bodies. So I would definitely say that it's more so how I feel.
And so when I'm in a healthy mindset, it's just your body is perfect the way it is. When I'm down on myself, I just want to be skinnier and I want to be fit and I want a bigger butt and I just want all of those like over dramatic like ideal characteristics for a woman. I think growing up is when there was a huge influence.
I guess just like growing up and like going to a diverse high school, but like at the same time like these standards were there where like you had to like look a certain way, especially as a woman, like you had to have like a clear face or wear makeup or not have hairs on your arms or legs because that would look so wrong, like so bad, and like people would criticize you.
That's kind of influenced me personally to like, when I was younger, be really focused on weight. And I still even have like a thought every day, like, oh, I wish I was skinnier, and I wish I didn't have that, but it's like so pervasive.
Because when I was in middle school, I had struggled a lot with eating and my relationship with food, and that was influenced a lot by what I believed was perfect from the media, because at that point in my life, I was reading magazines and I was on social media, and that was when Instagram became a really big part of my life, and a lot of people edit those photos to make themselves look perfect. But I was 12 or 13 years old, and so I didn't understand that like they were older than me, their bodies are different than mine, like I'm still growing and I'm still changing.
I think like when I was like a kid, I didn't have Instagram or we had like celebrities in magazines, but like it wasn't in front of your face all the time. And I guess like nowadays there's like all of these edited photos and like unattainable body types for most people that are sort of like shoved in front of our faces, and I think that
just not looking like having a six-pack or being really petite and small and skinny. But also there's the other opposite side of just how society views you. You have to be right in the middle, or society views you as somebody that isn't worth anything if you don't look a certain way, or you don't conform to what they are.
But at that point, everything that my families had said about their own bodies and everything society had said about women's bodies was completely making me hate my own. And it changed the way I ate, it changed the way I worked out, it changed the clothes I wore, everything. And it was a really difficult thing to try to get out of. And even as I'm older and I really don't follow the lives of celebrities, I don't really use social media much anymore, I still know that the long-term effects of what happened to me in middle school and what was being said around me has still impacted me in a subconscious way that I have to work harder to get out of.
So I guess that's kind of made me feel like my body was less than perfect or less than what it should be. And it's just the fact that it's so prevalent and it's always in front of your face, what is the next insecurity that I'm supposed to have. I think that's been really problematic for me, so yeah.
I would say that before growing up I did it was a big thing, just trying to get validation from others.
I mean, to a certain degree I probably do subconsciously. I don't really care that much. It's kind of all in my head.
I'm always really concerned whether or not that what I say or what I do is going to be mitigated by the fact of the way that I look. I feel as though that in other ways, I would like to see my actions and what I say and what I do.
I just wasn't really confident in being myself. So yeah, that's why I used to care, because I wanted validation from other people.
But you are perfect in your eyes right now, and you shouldn't have to change that. I shouldn't have to change the way I look to please others' eyes if I am comfortable in my body.
No, I don't care. At the end of the day, people's gonna have opinions about you, and you can't be pleasing every single person. So at the end of the day, it's just you. So it's no, I don't care. That's what the people think.
Fitting in isn't really a priority as much as bettering myself and keeping those that are close to me, making them a priority.
No, I don't think that I really care about what anybody else thinks, because most of the time they won't say it to you or anything like that. So.
But as I've been growing up and understanding that self-love is first, and putting my own needs and knowing what feels good to me, that I just find validation within myself now, where I don't need others to tell me that I look good or anything like that.
In terms of plastic surgery, no. In terms of just putting effort and work to prevent, let's say, health, failure of health or for any reason, then yes, I would.
No, I'm okay with my body. I think it's good the way it is. And if I could alter it, it would just probably be working out.
No. I feel everything that I want I can achieve by focusing on myself, eating healthy, going to the gym.
I said, once you start loving yourself, you're not only loving your inner self, it's also loving the outer part of you, appreciating that you're in good health, just because you don't have the just because I don't look like those models that have all of these like all these different characteristics that people like accept. Like I feel that, you know, as long as I'm happy with my body, it's doing what it needs to do and like help me get around places. And yeah, like I feel that there's no reason for me to change my body. I feel that like going back when I was like a child, like growing up, like maybe like a teenager, preteen, like I feel like if this question were to be there then, I feel like I would say yes, just because I wanted to fit into what society told me was right.
I have kind of worked with them, kind of just been, I guess, just dealing with kind of the things that I have, and I'm kind of growing to accept myself and love myself for how unique I am. So I think the short answer to that is no, I wouldn't change anything about my body.
I don't think I would want to, but I think that money kind of like poisons people's brains, especially if they have too much of it. So maybe, you know, who knows?
Not anymore, but definitely when I was in high school, like early high school and middle school, and celebrities were a bigger part of my life, and I was really involved like watching YouTube and watching like reality TV and stuff like that, is like all of those women, like they were constantly trying to change their bodies, or they were constantly talking down to themselves when they were a little bloated, or when their butt didn't look big enough. And like a prime example, like from when I was growing up, because my mom watched the show a lot, was the Kardashian family, because a lot of them have changed the way they looked, by whatever means that is. And so like growing up, when my mom would watch reality TV like that, that was the family I was seeing. And like with their family having been famous for so long, it was something where I could see that the changes that they were making, and like I know that like when I was in high school, even before I had like finished growing and everything like that, all I wanted was a big butt. Like that was all I wanted, and that was completely influenced by celebrities and the people on social media.
I think ultimately it comes down to society, because to be honest, like there's such a like, I don't know, there's such a beauty standard that's kind of where your perspective comes from, right? So like I most of the time, like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Like if you're too skinny, you need to like eat a sandwich. If you're too like, if your boobs are too big, you should like get a breast reduction. If your ass is too flat, like you need to go like work out or get a Brazilian butt lift, right? So like ultimately you can't really ever satisfy society, and like, but that's ultimately what you're doing it for, because it's always going to punish you for something about you, no matter what you look like, no matter how like quote unquote perfect you are. So
I feel like, yeah, because at least you're working on it, you know, you'll know that you put in the work, you know, to get that. You didn't like, you know, I'm not like, you know, talking bad about none of these people who's doing that, you know, they can do it, you know. But like, to me, it seems the easy way out, you know what I mean? So it's like, rather work first so that you feel proud that you did that on your own.
I guess to a certain degree, yes, they do.
Not really, like, probably, like, I got bunch of shoes, you know what I mean? So it's like, probably when I see them wearing some nice shoes, some nice Jordans and all that shit, then that's when I'll be like, oh, that shit dope. But it's just like shoes. It wouldn't be more about my body. It's more about like what they have to do what I don't. You know what I mean?
I would say not really. Going back, like I guess like my younger self would, but like right now I just see the way that they take care of their bodies more, like, you know, eating healthy, like trying to find these other ways to like, you know, like protect their inner well-being. And yeah, I guess that would be mostly what I would see, not like going too crazy.
So it depends on the celebrity, but I think that what we have so far is that there's a lot of people who actually promote body positivity, and that's in the direction in which we're going. I think that in the future, that people should take more, I guess, consideration of just like trying to instill these values into youth. So I feel like, yes, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. While yes, there are influencers that promote that type of thing, there's also influencers that promote an entirely different thing, and it's basically depends on how you view yourself, or what celebrities you want to follow.
To a certain degree, I mean, maybe. I do pay attention to like pop culture, and I pay attention to famous people a little bit, but I think something that is more of a thing, like, I don't know, I feel like celebrities are kind of like inaccessible, whereas like we have so many influencers who aren't really, I wouldn't call them all like famous, but they are famous in their own way. And I think that the fact that there are so many folks out there who are like pursuing this like perfection or whatever that they perceive as perfection, that influences kind of like how I see myself, whether I recognize it or not.
I think there's like a long list of people who perpetuate different kind of body types in media, and I think that when they perpetuate this, I think more so that there's a lot of celebrities that actually support those who don't look a certain way.
I guess because there's a lot more like it's because of like social media presence and like how like social media influences how people think, and I think it's because like the body dysmorphia and things like that, where people aren't really too sure of what they want their body shape to look like, or what they don't really feel confident in their own skin, so they kind of take influence from other people that seem to have everything figured out. Because what you see on social media is usually just people that seem like they're happy, but you never really know behind the scene. So a lot of people just kind of take motivation from those people that seem happy, and that's why I believe it causes people to take influence from influencers on social media.
Yeah, like for example, like I'm gonna go back to the clothes style, For example, like there's people that, there's famous people that, like for example, rappers, like for the most part they're black, and they come from what the quote unquote is called, so it's like they already have that sense of fashion with them, so it's like, they don't really change. Money doesn't really change them when it comes to that shit. And then, people see that and they be like, oh shit, so they want to dress hood, when they from that environment, when they just like, they're just trying to be something they ain't. You know what I mean? So it's just, I feel like that's just that type of stuff when it comes to clothing or body type. I'm not really sure. Like that's it.
I can think of Lizzo really just kind of promoting body positivity, and I think definitely body positivity is something that we should care about, and we should actually have in media, and that's why I enjoy that Lizzo and other people who don't really look like the normal in quotes like way to look as like a woman or a man or anything else. So yeah, I do feel like my decisions are influenced by celebrities, but not in the way that people think. I don't want to look like a celebrity. I want to look like myself. And if that is in how just like taking care of myself and just loving myself, then that's fine.
100%. I think social media is a good thing, but I also think that social media is a horrible thing.
Yeah, I would say yeah, and like especially depending who like the youth follows in social media, because there's a lot of people that have good intentions, but they don't realize that the way that they word things are not really, helpful in a way
because people constantly edit themselves to be what they think is most ideal, and a lot of people, especially like young children and preteens, can't really tell when something is edited.
because many of these young people who are trying to discover themselves, like hearing, like being like, if your body type is not like this, if you don't look like this, like you're not like beautiful enough, or you're not accepted and stuff like that.
Because they're just swiping and they're gonna take a quick glance and they're just gonna see it and be like, oh, that person is skinnier than me, or I wish I had that big of a butt, or something like that. But in a lot of cases, it's edited, or it's a specific pose, or it's just something.
Like, kids have cell phones and they have these accounts, and it's like, I feel like if I were to like raise a child in this society, especially, I mean, I hate to focus on like gender, but I feel like women really do experience a lot of that, like unattainable standard, because there's just like, there's so much editing and plastic surgery in that, and like raising a woman, or raising a young woman, would be really, really hard in this society right now. And you know, young men as well are really subject to this like hyper masculine standard that is also very unattainable. And I think that you know, I just kind of like worry about how people see themselves and how it's affecting their mental health too, because I feel like now that I'm starting to make peace with my body, like my mental health is like a little bit better, but it takes so much work. Like, I feel like I've been like dieting my whole life, and now that I'm not, it's like, okay, like how do people see that? Like, people talk about weight and body image all the time, and it's just a casual topic. So I think that it gets like ingrained in your brain from like a really young age, and then you just keep spouting like, what's the next like diet craze, or what's the next thing to like change about yourself or your body. And I don't know, it worries me. I don't really plan to have kids, but like I think that young people are really susceptible to that, especially when they see like what other people are going after and what they're talking about, you know?
Like, I also think that celebrities are leaning more towards being body positive, but a lot are not. And so it just depends on the celebrities and like the people that young adults are looking at and surrounding themselves with, and if they're able to just like address it and understand it. But overall, I do think that a lot of all of this celebrity social media is a problem for young adults and youth, because it's everywhere all the time.
I feel that if people are putting you in those type of like negative thoughts, instead of like being more positive, being like, you know, start like doing these type of self-care, like think about like doing some routine and stuff like that. But I feel that that's more helpful, but sometimes it's really hard to like find those motivations. So I do see social media playing a big role with the youth, especially because of how technology has really been evolving around the lives of many. I would tell myself that, you know, just love my own, like love your body, because, you know, like other people wish they had your body where it's healthy and can do things that they can't, and like just be more accepting of yourself, and like trying to avoid what other people have to say about it, because it can be hard being able to be in a society that like has these requirements for you to like continue on, because yeah, like it's just like really hard, because, you know, you're trying to fit into society just to like have a place to feel right, but at the same time being there is just so hard because you don't feel right. You're just there because that's what seems right to the society, while like being right to you is like just being who you look and how you feel and perceive yourself. And I feel like telling myself that, you know, ignore what others have to say, ignore that, love yourself, put yourself first in order to like attract people who really do deserve to have your energy and yourself in that room.
Just strive for what you want and care less about what other people think, because at the end of the day it's you in your own skin, and so your feelings matter more than what other people think of you.
Honestly, very difficult question, because when I was younger I was super insecure about everything, and so I feel like if I could look at my younger self and say one thing and it was related to like the way I perceived myself, is that like you shouldn't let other people's expectations influence your own, because you are healthy and you are perfect for what you need right now, and you don't need to change that to like appease the expectations of others.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least for me growing up, I always wanted, you know, like, them sneakers, you know, I wanted that sneakers, you know, but like, you didn't have that money for this shit, or like, how do I say it, like, I would have been just like, you know, put in work. If you want something, put in that work, you know what I mean, get money, work for that shit. Yeah, and if it's for body type, it'd be like, you know, stay healthy, you know, like, you know, don't obviously stay healthy, work out and all that, stay healthy for your own health, but like, you don't gotta, you know, get big for girls or that type of shit, because at the end of the day, all that shit ends up fading away as you grow older, that shit will fade away. So that's probably what I tell myself to do.
I think one thing that I should have been told when I was younger is that how people view you in your body does not determine your worth. I also think that I wish that I was told this by any of my leaders in my family, is that what my distinctions are in my body are important, and that's how they really show where you've been, who you are, and that putting more importance into that and trying to accept that is what's kind of going to liberate you from really feeling as though you don't conform or you don't look like everybody else. And lastly, I think that what I should have been told when I was younger is that your body image will change over time. It's something that you can't really control. I mean, yes, you can control it. However, your body is your body, and I think that it's important to just love it, and no matter what size, shape, or form it is in.
I would say, I would tell myself that it's like a fool's errand to try to like diet and change your body, because you're never gonna satisfy anyone, and that there's no reason to focus on that, because like it's not worth doing, essentially. Like, love your body for what it is and be grateful for it, and you know, don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because like having like a belly isn't like morally wrong, or like having like, you know, thick arms is like, there's nothing bad about that. It's just your body. Like, it's a neutral thing, and it is what it is, and the fact that I am healthy and that I can move my body and that I can like diet, can you know, avoid dieting and just exercise and eat healthy, and I should be like grateful that I was born into the body that I am. So yeah, essentially, like, don't waste your time on any of that, because it's not worth it.